Hey guys, what's going on? So this is the red 1987 Chrysler Conquest that I've got for sale right now. Just doing a brief video here to go over some of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Car's been running now for about 30 minutes. Fired it up, took it down the street, probably about a mile, just to get a feel for what was wrong with it and right with it. As you can see, gauges are gonna respond normally here. Boost meter works, tachometer works, fuel gauge is accurate, voltmeter is accurate, water temperature sensor is accurate as far as I know. If you look at the oil pressure there, it appears to be a little low. It responds normally to throttle, so as I rev it up here, you can see it start to rise. When it's actually in gear and on the road, it sits right about perfectly on the halfway point there. Taking a look at the dash here, first of all, no damage, no fading, no cracks, no tears. Aesthetically, the car is in very good shape. It's missing floor mats. I am about 99% sure this car came with floor mats. Passenger side door there, and I'll get a little bit more on the rear, the back seats when we have a minute. Has the original tape deck. Radio works, so if you come down here, if you look at the back of the car now, antenna is not up. We hit power.
This is going to become this huge fracturing point.
Vermont Public Radio for you. But the
I think that's definitely
antenna extends normally, so that works fine. This can be a little bit of a pain on these cars. Go ahead and shut that off. On the road trip there, vehicle went into gear fine, went into all 5 gears and reverse just fine. I'm not really sure what's going on with the steering. It was a little bit dodgy. No real hard pulls or anything, but it's either got an alignment issue, or there's also a steering coupling on these cars that's pretty notorious for failing. So I'm gonna take a look at that and try to get a read on what's going on with it and put it in the description. Anyways, driver's side door, again, leather's in good shape. The power locks here, this guy here works as it should, so when you put that to the lock position, you'll also have this one over here go to the lock position. There's also a feature on there that prevents you from locking your keys in the car if you try to lock it and then close the door. It'll unlock it until you've locked it from the outside with the key, which was kind of a neat thing. Passenger side seat, again, no tears, no discoloration. Apologize, I've got some breakfast up there. Factory seat belts work. So here's mine, the automatic seat belts. Close the door, and up she goes. Pretty as a picture. Over here, you've got the sunroof. Sunroof handle, it works, but there is damage to it, and it's a little hard to see, but this part here will come loose and drop this. I don't know how difficult it's going to be to source a replacement. The issue is in this little guy right here. There's an axle or a rod there that this whole thing swivels on, and that is damaged. But other than that, you can lock it in position and you can disassemble it and completely remove it just fine, which was a feature to make it a kind of a sunroof before they had retractable power sunroofs and that kind of thing. So there's that. Go ahead and hop out here and get you guys a shot of the back seat. Oh yeah, and these guys, mirror controls are functional. So we got it on the driver's side there. There it goes. Up, to the right, up. Oop, there we go. and then down. There we go. Sorry, I keep knocking the selector back to the intermediate position there. Get it back to where I can drive it. And then the passenger side. Oh. There we go. And it's looking like the up, or unless it's topped out, that's it going down. There we go, that's it going back up. So it must have been maxed out. We'll go ahead and get a shot of the back seat real quick. The car's running now. I've got the heat going. It's I think it's about 20 degrees outside right now, so that's blowing pretty hot. And yeah, that air comes out of there just fine. All the functions work. Low fan, high fan, face heater, if you will. There's an economy mode, and I don't remember exactly what that does to your air conditioning when the car's running, but it's a fuel saving feature. And then you've got the auto, which just kind of tries to give you the best conditions for the temperature that it senses. It usually does okay. Outside when it's 20 degrees right now, it's gonna crank the heat all the way up and run the fan. But I've used it a little bit on the last Conquest that I owned with the air conditioning, and it does okay. It's usually easier just to set it yourself. If I turn the temperature down, go ahead and get down into the AC mode. There it goes. And it started recircling there. But it's coming out cool, maybe cold. It's hard for me to say, especially with how it is outside. The compressor engages. I really can't confidently say for sure that if you're outside on a 80, 90 degree day, this thing is going to cool you down perfectly, but there you have it. 30-year-old car, I'd be amazed if the AC worked, so take that as you will. We'll go ahead and hop out and take a look at the back seat finally. And the rear hatch. All the controls for the seats here work just fine. That's your back going forward there. And going back. This guy here is the slider. So you pull this dude up and it will move forward and backwards without any limitations. This guy here is the thigh support. That was always a really nice thing to have. If you're like me, it'll keep you from sliding out of the front. Gas cap, or gas door I should say, works just fine. The hatch release here works, but it's a little gummy. So if you look now, the hatch is nice and locked. It's not going anywhere. If you come back over here, pull this thing up, and it just doesn't give a very satisfying click or anything. I don't know if that's normal. It's been too long since I've owned one of these guys. But if we walk to the back and lift the hatch, boom, it lifts up just fine. So another take what you will from it issue there. This is the back, plenty of room. The cover up here has a little bit of damage. As you can see, it's got a little bit of cracking up there. When it sits on the back, it is a little bit saggy. It's got kind of this dip in it, as you can see, but it's going to cover up your possessions, and no one will know it's back there just fine. I think there's somebody on StarQuest Club doing a replacement project, but don't quote me on that. So this guy is where the windshield washer fluid goes. It is also, I believe, where the jack goes, but I don't see one in there, so we might find that somewhere else, hopefully. Yeah, there's the diagram that shows it being in there. So it is bereft of its emergency jack, I do believe. I did not know that. Spare tire. There you go. It's got the little crank for the scissor jack, but no scissor jack. So if you are going to be driving to come get this guy, keep that in mind. You might want to bring a floor jack with you just in case. Overall, the exterior is in really good shape. That is a replica rear sticker there. I don't think they ever made that in black. The previous owner, for some reason, put some kind of tape or something over the made for Chrysler or whatever it said sticker here. So it's still under there, but there's something covering it. I don't know why he did that, but there it is. Little bit of cracking on the wing right here that you can see. The rest of the car, really good condition paint, polishes up nicely. The wheels are already stripped, which is a common mod. They could be polished pretty easily. On the rear passenger side wheel here, you'll see that. This guy does have a very slow leak. Over the course of about 4 or 5 months, it emptied out. So it is leaking, but again, it's very, very slow. I don't know if you'd want to have that repaired, replace the wheels, etc., but it's something you have to consider. Again, more body shots here. The front lip, the front air dam is not cracked, rebuilt, damaged, hurt in any way. That's a pretty uncommon find, usually. And those guys are not easy to source if you need to replace it. If we come over here to the driver's side, there's a little scratch right there on the front bumper. And that goes pretty much all the way down to the polyurethane. So again, another consideration for you. Let's go ahead and lift the hood, and I'll show you some of the surface rust that this guy has. If you had to ask me, I'd say it's probably a little lower than the regional average. But there is some to note. There we go. So this is her running. If we get close, you can see down there a little bit of paint messing, a little bit of surface corrosion, but nothing, no holes or anything. Down in the near the throttle body there's a little bit of surface corrosion. We see some on the heat shield for the turbo, that kind of thing. I think it has a little bit of an exhaust leak coming from the rearmost exhaust header or exhaust port. It's not spewing out exhaust right now, but when you start it, you get a little bit of sputtering out of there and a little bit of smoke. I don't know if that comes from sitting up for a long time or what, but there you have it. There's our AC compressor. It's not engaged right now. Let's go ahead and kick that AC on and see if it engages. I just don't know how easy it would be to bring the AC back on this car, but there we go. Let's see if we can hear it. Let's take a look. It's not engaging yet. I'm not an AC pro, so I don't even know if it's supposed to engage, but there you have it. It's probably 20 degrees out here right now, and I don't know if that makes a difference, but I don't see or hear the compressor clicking on. Anyways, I'm gonna pull this guy into the garage, try to get it up on the jack stands and get some photos underneath it, just so everyone can get a good idea of what the undercar looks like. But the exterior, the interior is very clean. Engine bay's got a little bit of surface rust on it, but no holes, nothing structural. So yeah, see you guys in a minute.